I hope screen is visible. Okay. So just to revise, yesterday we have seen like how Java came into the picture, like who developed, like what is the team and like when they have developed and like what are the things they have taken into consideration for this programming language. Okay. To say like what is Java, like we can say like we have stopped here, like Java is object-oriented programming language developed by Sun Microsystems. Okay. So this is about Java. So we can see like what is object oriented, what is object oriented means. Okay, what is object oriented? Object and class. So before moving to object oriented programming language, in the sense how the programming looks like in terms of object oriented means, like we'll just learn what is object and what is class basically. So object and class is nothing but like object is nothing but like everything which we can see visually as well as physically, like which really exists in a world. That is nothing but an object. Object is nothing but which really exists. Like for example, let us say pen, example, like book, phone, like whatever we are seeing, like with our eyes, like this is representation like electronic devices, let's say television. All these comes under object, like which really exist. Like it has certain properties, like each object represents some of the properties, like some behavior. Like pen is having a behavior, is nothing but like a book. Again, like if I take any vehicle like Audi, a Baleno, okay, that I'm able to see like which really exists, in the sense I'm able to see that the behavior of that particular object. That is nothing but object which really exist, in the sense physically. Now, what is a class? Class is nothing but class is nothing but a blueprint to represent an object. A blueprint to represent an object is nothing but, we can say either blueprint or a group name. Group name is nothing but like the basic difference between object and class here is, in real time basically, a class does not visible, in the sense like we cannot see a class, is nothing but like, but object really exist. Class does not exist. Only we can represent in terms of objects. Okay, so object exists, and which we see. So best example for class is, we can say like a human being. Human being, we are all properties, like we are all belongs to, okay, humans, like we can say humans, like we are all belongs to a human group. This is a group. We don't have anyone call it as a human being. This is a group name. We are all objects belongs to human being class. Okay, one more example, car. Let us take car car is a group name. Car, it does not exist, but when someone says, hey, car is going, in the sense like we physically, like visually we assign, okay, car is having like four wheels, like it starts, like stop, like we can change the car gear, like it moves from one place to another place, like okay, we can change the gear and all. So this is a group name. Now what are the objects of this? Like I'll just give this one example. This we can exist, like this one we exist. So these are all objects belongs to car. Now human being, so I'll just take some famous politicians, like which we can meet regularly, like players, like okay. So again, these are all we will see, like how they will represent, how they will play, like how they will actually play their roles in real time. But all are belongs to human being. This is a group name. Now, what is a class? Class is nothing but a group name which does not exist, but it gives some properties where we can exist. So now you see, like what is an object? Object is nothing but which exists with certain behavior. Like one more example we can take. Any take any we can take dog. You can take dog. But when someone says like dog, but we can assume some properties. It's nothing but different names we will call as this one. Okay, so just to revise, like what is a class is nothing but class is a group name which does not exist, but in terms of object, it gives some certain behavior, belongs to certain behavior. Object is nothing but which really exists and gives some properties here. So one more term we can call it as a class is a blueprint or a group name which describes the properties of an object. So each and every class, okay, each and every class is having certain properties and actions, certain properties and actions. Let us take car. Car. What are the properties of a car basically? What are the properties of a car here is nothing but color. Color is one property, car color. Now, what is the height of the car? Now, what is the weight of the car? Now, what is the weight of the car? And now, what is the model of the car? Like whether this is a manual car or automatic car. These are all properties which defines your group name. Group name. This is nothing but properties. Properties. Okay. So now same way, like each class is having, as I said, like a combination of properties as well as actions. Actions. Now, what are the actions of this particular class? Actions is nothing but we can start the car. This is one action. Okay, when we start, it actually moves. Okay, we can stop the car. Okay, we can change either gear or accelerator. Okay, so now we can stop the car. This is action. We are performing action. Let us take one more example, like human being. Basically, what are the properties we have? Properties basically name of a person. Now, what is his height? Like what is his weight? What is the gender? These are all properties of a human being. Now, what are the actions we are going to perform? Actions like human can play, like humans can eat. Okay. Now, walk. These are all basic properties. Okay. Now, sleep. This is also one of the action. This is also one of the action. So just to revise, what is a class and what is object is nothing but, so before going to that, object oriented programming is nothing but a program which can be defined and designed with the help of classes and objects. That is nothing but object oriented programming is nothing but a program should is written or should develop or should design either by class or object. Now, what is an object? Object is nothing but which shows certain behavior and exist physically with the help of, like how we are representing, with the help of properties and actions. Now, what is a class? Class is a group name or blueprint where it represents the properties of objects which follow certain behavior. If you see this is one behavior like Kohli, Modi, Rajani, these are all belongs to human class, which is having certain behavior. Like whatever the human being behavior is, like he can eat, he can eat, he can eat. Like walk, walk, walk. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Like human beings follow some same behaviors. So we can call it as a class. That's why we can represent as a group name where the objects follows same behavior. You see, like car. Car is also comes under a group name. We don't see a car, but when someone says car, but we can visually identify, okay, how car looks like, and what are the actions car can perform. Okay, there is no car actually, but we can have like these type of models actually. So now you can take flower. This is one example. Flower. We don't have a flower basically, but when someone says flower, we can represent, like there are different types of objects which we can see visually. okay, on which exist really. Rose, lily, okay. So now jasmine. These are the basic flowers. These are all objects. This is a class. Okay. So now again, when we go, so each class represents and each class is having properties and actions. It represents a properties and actions. Like what is a property? What is a property is nothing but, so these are the basic properties and actions is this one. Now, if you take like properties which defines you, this one. Now, actions, we are using this one. So now in terminology, come back to our programming terminology. So what does it mean by property? How we are referring a property is nothing but properties referred to as, or okay, or properties represent in terms of variables, in terms of variables. Now, actions represent in terms of methods. In terms of methods, property is nothing but one variable. Again, I'll just discuss what is a variable and what is a method when we start actual programming. Okay. So, but in terms of, you can see like what is an object oriented, we know object oriented is nothing but we need to write a program either by using a class or object or both. That is one line. Second thing is nothing but, so how we are representing, again, each class is having a combination of properties as well as actions. Now, what does it mean? How can we represent in a program? In programming language, what we can call a property is nothing but, properties are nothing but variables. Actions are nothing but methods. Okay. So this is one of the future basically provided by Java. Now I'll just show you one program which we have seen uh, last day. So now if you see, if I want to write one simple program, as I said, right, like uh, this is the program which we have seen. Okay, this is a sample. Okay, this is a dot class file. Okay, which we have written this one. So it means that Java is a pure object oriented programming language. As I said, what is object oriented programming language is not, but even if you want to write, even if you want to write a single line or easy program, whatever it may be, you need to write in a combination of class. It's nothing but either class or object or both. Otherwise, we cannot call that is a object-oriented programming language. In the sense, if you want to write object-oriented programming language, in the sense, you need your program should have a class. Your program should have a class. We have just written a simple program where we are printing one message. That's it. We are printing one message. For to printing one message also, we need to follow object-oriented pattern. This is what I have explained here. Okay. So in the sense, object oriented means a program, we'll just write object oriented programming language means a program should have either class or object or both. It should have. Now we don't have objects. We are not talking about objects, but I have written one simple program which displays one message. How I have created, in the sense, like if you want to create one more class, we are just going to create Java class. You see, right? Java class again. What is a class name? Class is nothing but a group name which represents certain behavior in terms of properties as well as actions. Property is nothing but a variable. Action we are representing in terms of method. Now, this is one of the future. This is one of the future and behavior of Java. That's what we said. It is Java is an object-oriented programming language. It's nothing but this one. This is the one. So now, next step, object-oriented programming language. So now to represent you, to show you, this is the one. So how are we representing here? So if you see, right, object oriented, what are the properties of a car? If you see name, color, fuel type, body type, which we can visually see. Again, these are all the properties. Now, if you see actions, like we can start the car, stop the car, accelerate the car, like multiple gears we can change like based on the speed. Now, what exactly the properties here? We're representing the name again, like these are all the objects basically. Is nothing but like object oriented is nothing but a combination of class and objects. How we are representing is nothing but properties as well as actions. Now, we can take a person or human, that is one class. Person does not exist physically. Car does not exist physically, but we have some properties here. We have some properties. You see, what are the properties? Basic properties of a person here is name, age, gender. Like what are the actions basically we humans perform? Like we can study, we can eat, we can play, we can walk, all these things basically. Okay, so you see, car is nothing but a class, object is nothing but this one. So class is a person which does not, the basic difference between class and object, to just reiterate, a class does not exist physically, where object exists physically. Now, come back to the futures of Java. Like when they have developed Java programming language and released it in the market, they have given like why this Java is really required to develop a software in terms of independence and all. So they have given some demonstration in a worldwide Sun Microsystems conference. Like once they have developed that web browser, like which we have discussed, hot Java is nothing but that is the first browser. Along with that, they have designed some features like why Java is important and like what are the advantages provided when compared to other programming languages. Okay, the first one is robust. Along with operate object oriented is also one of the future. One of the future. Now, this is one of the future they have provided. Robust. Robust means strong. Strong. Robust means strong. How strong is nothing but like two ways they have implemented, two things they have implemented inbuilt. Inbuilt is nothing but internally Java will take care. Like once you download, once you install the Java software in your PC, in your system, and once you start work like designing a program or developing a program, internally they have given two options and two features with that. One is internal exception handling mechanism. Exception handling mechanism. This is one thing. One thing. And second thing is memory management. Memory management. What does it mean by exception? What does it mean by exception? Exception is nothing but error. 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 Okay. So error. So what happens here is like without this, like if you don't have proper exception handling mechanism in any programming language, the possibility here is your program disconnects or closes abruptly in the middle. That is one thing, because we don't have a proper error mechanism. Second thing here is like there is a chance of losing a data. Losing a data is nothing but like you stored some data, you worked yesterday and all, but you don't have any exception handling mechanism due to some logical error and all. When you start running, automatically data is deleting from backend. And if your program connected with the database, or if your program connected with any properties file or any third party, in the sense like in any text pad which you are storing under. So if you're not handling proper proper exception handling mechanism, so there might be a chance of losing a data. Losing data. This is one of the major concern with all the errors. Second thing here is like program closes or quits, ends abruptly. Abruptly is nothing but without your intervention. When you start and execute a program, automatically it closes. So they have identified this future which is not available in the previous programming languages or earlier programming languages. What they have decided is they have given inbuilt exception handling mechanism so that Java developer or Java programmer who develops or write a programs, they can use this exception handling mechanism in their program, so that even if they implement this exception handling mechanism in their programs or in their applications, even if something goes wrong, even if something goes wrong, Due to this exception handling mechanism, there is no chance to lose a data. Again, program also, it will close normally by providing a meaningful error message, but it will not end or it will not close abruptly all of a sudden. All of a sudden. So this is one of the basic feature provided inbuilt mechanism. That's why this feature name it as called robust. Strong. It's nothing but there is no chance to lose your data if you follow a proper exception handling mechanism, which is an inbuilt feature provided by Java team. Okay, this is one of the feature. Now, second thing, memory management is nothing but allocation, and deallocation. Deallocation. Now, allotting and de-allotting a memory will take care internally. Will take internally. So who will take care internally is nothing but allotting a memory. In the sense, let's take one example. Let's take one example. Like let's take one home. Home is our example basically. So we don't have a much space here at home. So let's take we have only one room, but I required TV as well as fridge. Okay, so for the time being, at least for 2 months, what I will do here is instead of taking multiple things at home, so first I will just arrange TV at home. Okay, so this item will take sufficient space here, sufficient space. So I need to allot or I need to allocate some space in my room. So this is nothing but allotting a memory to this item in my space. Space is nothing but in my room. In my room, I'm just doing regular activities and all. So after some time, after some days of time, after some period of time, like let's say I have used this TV, I watched multiple movies and watched multiple games and all. After 1 month, I realized that TV stopped working due to some other issues. Okay, so it stopped working, but I waited. Might be like I'm just keep on trying from my basic language. I just changing the switch. I changed a plug, and I have changed the electricity mechanism and all. From my end, whatever I do, I'm doing, but still this item is not working for me. What I will do? What I will do? Now, in this place, after observing for some period of time, this item is not at all used, and this item is taking a space in my room. What I will do is nothing but I will delete this. In a sense, I will take this item out. Out in the sense, like I will just sell this or I will just give this so that I'm clearing or I'm freeing this item, which is not at all used to me. The process of what I'm doing here is getting the item into my room using, and like once this item is not belongs to me or not used to me, so what I'm just taking this item out. So allocation, deallocation. Allotting a memory is nothing but allotting a space to a particular item once that is not used or once that is not being used. What I'm doing, I'm de-allotting. De-allotting is nothing but deleting that item from that space. Removing that item from that space is nothing but deallocating. Deallocating is nothing but clearing that item from that particular point of view time or particular space. Same way. So whenever you are using this concept, like what are this? Yeah. Whenever you are using in programming language, variables or methods and all programming terminology. So memory will be allocated. For example, if you have used four variables, four variables, you have used four properties, let's say. In that, two properties you have not used. Memory allocated in the sense, whenever you use memory allocated, who did this? Allocated JVM allotted memory. JVM allocated internally. So out of these four variables, in the sense, when I say variable, you can consider property, or when I say property, you can consider this is a variable. Now in these four variables, two variables I have not used. I have declared like this, these four properties, but I have not used. I don't want these properties. For now, I want name and I want height, but I don't want these two for now. So what happens internally is, but memory is allocated to all these four properties. Now, what happens here is like JVM internally checks all the program in the memory management system by using the memory management. JVM internally checks like which properties we are using and which properties not used, not used. So it keeps on check, it keeps on check. After that, after period of some time, internally what it will do here is it will clears the memory which we have allotted. It will visible till you clear, till you delete manually, this variable will be visible. But internally, JVM, what it will do is nothing but deallocate that memory, whatever the memory allocated, which whom there is a concept called, I'll just explain this one also, but just to follow the terminology and the flow of the concept, using this is nothing but a garbage collector. Garbage collector, JVM uses garbage collector internally. Garbage is nothing but unused items. Garbage collector, meaning is nothing but whatever the items which is not being used for a long time that they are clearing. So again, this is an internal mechanism provided by Java team people. So like if you consider other programming languages, who is responsible to allot and de-allot a memory is nothing but a developer or a programmer. Okay, let's say C++, there is a separate method or a function which we need to call at the end of the program so that once the program is completed, memory will be free. But in Java, they have identified that that is a drawback. Okay, again, like they need to put some effort from the developer or a programmer. JavaSoft come into the picture with this feature internally and assigned this job to JVM, because JVM is nothing but a heart of execution of any Java program. So JVM will take this role and internally, with the help of garbage collector, it will allot a memory as well as deallocate memory which is not being used for a long time. That's why we can call it as a robust. Okay, why robust is nothing but this is one of the basic and a strong feature provided by Java internally along with your JavaSoft. Okay, robust means strong. Why it is strong? Because of two features, because of two things. One is inbuilt exception handling mechanism as well as inbuilt memory management. Inbuilt memory management. So now again, now second feature is high performance, high performance, high performance. So before going to that high performance, so any programming language, I said like in first class, I said like I have taken two programming languages. So I have written one program and have executed like how the flow will be. So now any programming language you can take how your source code is nothing but whatever the code you have written, that is nothing but source code. So this means this is my source code. I have written this program, which is human readable format. Okay, so this is nothing but a source code. So now I want to execute this code. So what I will do now, what I will do is nothing but I will run here. So that internally what happens here, it will convert in the sense our compiler, compiler or a tool provided by any programming language compiles your code. Why we need to compile a code? So that system will understand, like whatever the microprocessor or a platform you are using, that should understand, and as well as it should give a output. It should give output. That's why we are doing. That's why we are writing. We are writing a program for ourselves, but finally, system will understand what you have written. What you have written. System will give, like when you execute a program, system will give what is the exact output so that you can utilize the software effectively. Okay. So now, source code, who is doing here? So compiler. Okay. So compiler, what it will do? Compiler will understands the program, compiles the program. If you don't have any compile time exception or any errors, it will give a output. So why I'm saying high performance is nothing but two things. We have a two tools basically. We have two tools basically to run any programming language is compiler and interpreter. Interpreter. So what is the difference between compiler and interpreter? The functionality is the same. Functionality is same. So both the tools use you to convert your source code to machine language instructions, which can be understandable by your microprocessor. Okay. So now what is the difference? Compiler and interpreter. Compiler is nothing but it will execute whole program at once. Let's say we have three steps here. It executes whole program at once. At once. So there is more performance here, like high performance. Interpreter is, as I said, functionality is same. It also uses you to convert your program to machine language instructions. But what is the difference here is it will execute line by line, one line. First line, it will check. Second line checks. Third line checks. Fourth line checks. Fifth line checks. So here interpreter means execution is step by step. Execution is step by step. It will not execute your program as a whole, like the compiler will do. Compiler is, it will execute whole program, like how many steps you have at once. Now, before Java or any other programming languages, if you take, so either they use compiler or interpreter, not both. Not both. But Java Soft identified to increase their high performance. Now, Java programs, in the sense, JavaSoft team internally provided compiler as well as interpreter to execute our program. In the sense, Java is one of the programming languages which uses internally compiler as well as interpreter to execute your program. Okay, so now let us go back here. Now let us see terminal. Where is terminal? So now what I'm doing, I'm just compiling a program. Okay. Compiling a program. So when I compile, it generates one dot class file. Now I'm running a program. So who will come into the picture? Interpreter will come into the picture. I'm running a program. So you see, right? Compiling and running. Compiling and running. So now you see, both tools I'm using. See, if you see Java C as well as Java, compiler as well as interpreter. Java is one of the programming languages which uses both. Like in case of C, C++, they use compiler. If you take COBOL, interpreter, like if you say in scripting languages, JavaScript, Ruby, Python, Perl, all are using interpreter, but no compiler. No compiler. Here, like why I'm saying high performance is nothing but by using these two tools, they have increased, in the sense Java team increased the performance of an application. Agree, the execution in case of interpreter, the execution is step by step, which delays the performance. What they have written here is Java soft people written one program and integrated to this interpreter. What does it mean is just in time. Just in time is nothing but to increase the execution and to improve the performance of an application. They have written one program and they have integrated this program to interpreter so that the performance will be more, because they are using two tools to execute each and every program. So what does that mean? Just in time. They have integrated this to improve the execution process of Java program. This is one of the this is one of the best and strong feature provided by JavaSoft people. Okay, high performance, we can say. Now again, portability, already we discussed portability. Portability, portable. Portable is nothing but if a program gives same result irrespective of your platform. In the sense, like whatever the platform you are using and your system is having a JRE, like again, if a system your system is having a Java software, then that program will run without any intervention or without any issues. Okay, so these are all the basic features provided by Java team. Like once they have introduced Java to the market, they have improved this flexibility and they have given more flexibility and they have improved these features also version by version. They have introduced more features. They have given more flexibility to the to the programmer. They have given more inbuilt features so that a programmer focus on coding as per the requirement. Internally, whatever the built-in provide, they have provided. Like built-in is nothing but they have provided internally. We need to know how can we utilize that. Okay. This is about Java futures. So now let us talk about JVM. Let us talk about JVM. So we have seen what is JVM, like as mentioned, Java Virtual Machine. What does it mean by JVM? Java Virtual Machine. What is the role of JVM? JVM is a program. JVM is a program which can be used or or this is the one JVM. Like how it will take, like how internally, like JVM will consider, we'll see. But what is the JVM is nothing but now. What is the role of JVM here is nothing but it takes dot class file. It takes dot class file. You see, right? When you compile, it generates one dot class file. Okay, one generates dot class file. JVM, the role is responsibility is it takes dot class file, converts each step of your source code to bytecode instructions, bytecode instructions. I can write in this way. Converts bytecode instructions to machine language instructions, which can be understandable by your microprocessor. Microprocessor is nothing but your platform. This is the definition of JVM. Okay, it is the heart of the Java execution program or process. What is the role here is nothing but it takes dot class file. It takes dot class file, which has bytecode instructions, converts that bytecode instructions to machine language instructions so that microprocessor can take that machine language instructions. It gives whatever the output expected. In a sense, what is the expected output it generates. In a sense, executed program. Finally, when you run, who is running this? When you run, who is running this? Your microprocessor only doing this, your operating system showing this. But internally, to complete successful process, to make this a successful, internally, multiple factors will come into the picture. JVM will come into the picture, your microprocessor will come into the picture, whatever the OS you are using, like OS come into the picture. Okay. So now let us take, we know what is the definition, but how JVM will depend. How JVM will depend with other factors so that your program will run successfully. Okay, so we'll see now. Now we'll see. So now this is a JVM architecture basically. So this is a basic step. You see, right? Class file, because JVM enters into the picture once we generate dot class file. Once when you compile any source code which we have written, when you compile, dot class file will come, right? Actual job starts, the JVM actual job starts from here, class file. So now what it will take, what it will do with that class file. So it loads into class loader subsystem. Okay, JVM takes class file and loads into class loader subsystem. What is class loader subsystem? Class loader subsystem is one of the module which uses JVM internally to verify your class file. In the sense, it checks whether that class file is correct or not, valid or not. And again, whatever the bytecode instructions we have written or it converted from the compiler is valid or not. All these things it cross checks here. Class loader subsystem is nothing but once class loads into class loader, it cross checks each and every instruction internally. Once it confirms, yes, this class file is valid and whatever the bytecode instructions available in that class is correct, then what it will do, class loader subsystem will assign memory. In the sense, JVM, what it will do, will assign a memory, whatever the details available in class file. So what is that a memory? different types of memory divided, like JVM divides internally. Javasoft people, this is a program. This is a program written by Javasoft, Javasoft, where once class file is available, like once you compile your program and generates dot class file, what happens in the background? So now JVM, what it will do, it will divide all this. This is nothing but, let us say this runtime data area is nothing but your home, your home. So now here, let us take like, first I'll just discuss, after that I'll just go back to programming. Okay, runtime data area is nothing but, let us take one home. Like in home, basically we partition multiple rooms, right? Multiple sub rooms. So one is a hall, like a kitchen, like a bedroom, and master bedroom we will call, like a washroom we can call, multiple things, segregate. And again, we know what item to be placed at which area. We cannot keep TV in kitchen usually. Usually no one will do. I don't know, like maybe. So we follow something like, again, we cannot keep a refrigerator in hall or bedroom. Usually we know like which item to be placed, like that is a basic knowledge, like basic sense, like which item to be placed in what room or which room. Same way here, like once class file or once class loader subsystem sends acknowledgement that bytecode instructions are correct, class file is valid, we are good to allot a memory. So immediately what JVM will do here is it will divide the memory into separate rooms. This is one total block. Basically, runtime data areas is nothing but a memory block which will divide it into multiple places. Multiple places, nothing but, so method area, this is one room, heap is one room, Java stack is one room, PC registers is one room, native method stacks is one room. So now, what is the role of each and every area? Method area is nothing but whenever you create a class, whenever you create a class, now you have a class. Now you have a method, main method. Okay. So in method area, JVM stores your class, allots a memory to your class code as well as method code. Method area, the name itself tells method area. In the sense, it is responsible, this memory block is responsible to store your variable, in the sense, I mean, allot a memory to a variable, to class, and to your methods, method area. Now heap. Heap is again one more room, is for memory. Like what is the use of heap is nothing but, as I said, Java is an object-oriented programming language. If you have any objects in your program, so JVM uses this memory area, heap, this memory area to store objects, Now Java stacks is one more memory block. What happens here is method area is having class code, method code, variables, details and all. So sometimes this method area does require more memory or more space. What happens here is like a Java stacks, PC registers, these two memory areas will support extra memory to these two, method area and heap. Now, native method stacks is nothing but native. When I say native is nothing but it does not belongs to Java. Sometimes if we need to depend upon other libraries, other inbuilt or predefined or user-defined methods, okay, in that case, this native method stacks memory block will be stored. Native is nothing but it's not a built-in method or a variable provided by Java. It depends upon other. For example, like I say, AWT swings in Java. AWT is abstract window toolkit swings. Basically, that modules is used to design window components and graphical representation of UI. So button, when I click button, it gives some pop-up like good morning. Or when I click radio button checkbox, there is a component called AWT and swings, which we can consider as a native. So for that purpose, this is one memory area. So runtime data area, again, runtime data area is a memory block where JVM divides memory blocks into multiple blocks or multiple rooms. Now, the Java program will divide it into multiple sections and each section plays a key role here. So heap is one area where objects will store, like method is area where it store a class code, method code, like a variable if you have used any initialization happened, all these things it will store. Now two steps. Once we loaded a class loader subsystem is done. Now we consider Class is valid. Now we have assigned necessary memory. Now memory allocation is also done. What happens here? Memory allocation is done. Now what I need to do? I need to execute this. I need to execute this program. Execute this program so that I'm expecting some output from this program is like here. If you see execution engine, just now I have explained execution engine internally it uses JVM internally uses interpreter JIT compiler. Again, interpreter and JIT compiler is a part of JVM. Java compiler is a tool outside of a JVM. Java compiler does not belong to JVM. Just don't confuse here. This is a very important point. Java compiler is not part of a JVM. Okay. Java compiler role is it will hand over the dot class file to JVM. Okay. So now execution engine, how your JVM will execute the program. See if you see execution engine. Interpreter, we have seen what is the interpreter. It executes your program line by line, line by line, line by line. This is where if you have like 5 steps, that's fine. Let us assume if you have a 50 steps, 100 steps, definitely it will impact your performance, like execution performance. So that's why they have identified the issue and they have written one more program, JIT. That is nothing but just-in-time compiler. Okay, JIT is nothing but just-in-time compiler. This is one type of a program they have given and they have added to the interpreter so that what it will do, this interpreter will behave as a compiler only. Compiler only. So because of this JIT compiler, whenever you execute or run a program, it will not consider step by step. It will execute as a whole to improve the performance. That is a major improvement they have did in terms of JVM program. So now to support this execution purpose, internally they support these libraries and jar files they require, the packages, all this required, all this necessary required. And again, finally, to perform all this activity, who is playing a key role? Who is playing key role? Your platform is playing a key role. If you have an issue with operating system or if you are having microprocessor, then nothing will work. If your operating system microprocessor is up, then only your system. So how I can say my system is good, my system is up, my operating system up. That's why I'm able to see. That's why I'm able to see output. That's why I'm able to talk with you. That's why I'm able to share a screen. Who is providing from backend? Your platform is providing a background to do your job successfully without any interruptions. Whether that is a network interruption or a processor interruption or lagging a screen or a voice base, everything. Who is providing? Finally, your operating system. Okay. So this is where JVM will come into the picture, how JVM will take your program internally and executes. So how many tools it will come, like what are the tools it will use internally, how the memory allocation will be happen, like what are the memory areas it uses internally, all these things, this is the one. Okay, so these are all very important. These are all very important because so whenever we learn a programming language, it's not about writing a program, jumping directly into the code, execute. No, that is not a good programming language. If you want to learn a programming language, we need to know all these concepts, how my program works internally. In the sense, like why I'm learning this programming language, why this programming language come into the market, who developed this, what is the effort they put this, like what is the advantage of this programming language. If I want to build a software or if I want to build a program, what are the concepts I have? Okay, so these are all really important. That's why I have taken 2-3 sessions here. So most probably from tomorrow onwards, we'll start first steps towards Java programming. In the sense, what are the basic steps I need to know to write a simple Java program? We have seen this program, but we'll see like what are the basic steps? What is this? Like what is this? Like what is this? So multiple ways, like if I want to implement a basic Java program, what are the steps, basic steps I need to follow? So first steps towards Java programming, I will start from tomorrow onwards. And again, like we'll share one recording session. We'll share with the recording, which has all the steps to set up your system. Okay, you need to install Java 17. Okay, before coming to tomorrow's class, if you are not working and if you have time, you can install Java 17 in your machine and IntelliJ Community Edition. Okay, IntelliJ Community Edition. Meanwhile, I will share one document to you now. You can download and we'll share video also. step-by-step video clearly mentioned in both ways. Like in Mac also, that recording session will give the information how I can install IntelliJ IDE Java 17 in Mac machine as well as in Windows PC. Okay, so when you go that, so you will be clearly understand. You can try from your end. You can try from your end. If not, if still you are facing issue, definitely I am here to help you. Okay, meanwhile, I'll just share that document to you so you can just go through that. Where is the chat? So yeah, meanwhile, I will share. So if you have any queries, just send a message through chat. Like I'm open, like we have still 5 minutes time. So yeah, I can take it up if you have any queries. So meanwhile, I'm just sharing the document. Okay, I'm sending both in doc as well as PDF format. If you don't have a Microsoft Word proper version, so like I'm just sending a both PDF as well. This having a commands. If you have already Java in your PC, that's fine. Like